Alright, today I'm going to discuss the pressure box project and what I'm looking for and how to make it. So here are three example pressure boxes, and you would think this one right here would be the winner out of these three, but actually this one leaked the most. So this, although this looks beautiful and it turned out really cool, this is not necessarily what I'm looking for. It's not really what this is about. So we're not actually as concerned about looks with this project, which is probably one of the few projects ever I would say that about, but this is not really what we're looking for. So then I have these two. This one is amazingly done well. This was not their first go at this, and I would not expect a pressure box from a beginning welder, a first year welder anyway, to have this few of welds on it overall. But this one did hold air, so what we're trying to do is fill these boxes with 90 psi of air pressure, compressed air from an air compressor, and then we place it in a bucket with water, and our goal is not to have any leaks. Other than sometimes it'd be just one or two around where the connection is, but we're trying to avoid any leaks. So now this one here is definitely closer to what I would expect from a beginning welder. Lots of welds on there. You know, they don't all look amazing, but there's a lot of start-stop points and a lot of welding that was done. And that's really what the purpose of this assignment is, to just get in the booth and start doing a bunch of welding and to learn a couple of these other processes along the way. So this is, you know, it's a little lopsided, but it held 90 psi without any leaks. So this one was awarded full points. All right, when I give you the materials for the pressure boxes, you will get one plate of metal like this, and it'll have 3 plasma cut slits in it. And what I'm wanting you to do is start to fold this up after you burn your initials in it. So the very first thing I want you to do is to weld your initials in it. That way the chance of you getting this mixed up with somebody else decreases. So I'm trying not to give away more than one of these per person, just so we don't waste materials and it doesn't drive up the cost of other things. Plus, you know, I'm trying to get you to be responsible, so I want you to put your name on this first. Just weld your initials with a weld bead. It doesn't have to look beautiful, and get that on. So then the next step, you'll probably bend these ends up, and you could do this with just a vise. They're a little thick for our benders, so I'm kind of wanting you to just bend them in a vise, put some gloves on for that so you don't cut your hands. And what we're looking for is to try to get this to be 90 degrees. So when I put the square on here, we want that to be 90 degrees. And you can now weld the inside of the box. So when those are at 90, you can come across here and weld the inside here and the inside there. As you saw, this one's not 90 yet. I just want to point that out. This one was a little off from 90. It's definitely not 90. But once you do a T-weld here basically and a T-weld here, then you could put it in the vise this way and it will bend it, and you just tap it with a hammer a little bit there, and then you just keep bending it and it will turn it into the cube. So once you have the cube established, then I can give you some lids. So I have a top and a bottom lid that you'll weld on next. A little point I have for you is a lot of times they leak on the corners. So if you can, when you're welding, try to weld right around a corner, that sometimes eliminates a little bit of welds, and then you can try to, you know, you just have basically 2 weld breaks instead of 3. So if you weld here, stop, weld here, stop, weld here, stop, that's 3 weld breaks. But if you can roll it around here and then down here, you just have, you know, basically just the 1 weld break here, and that will really help out just the 1 gap versus, I said 3, but I guess it's just, you know, there's where 3 welds meet up is what I was trying to say. All right, and then once you get that done, you're going to take a 7/16 drill bit. So use the drill index to measure the drill bit diameter, because we can't mess this up. It has to be exactly 7/16. And then you'll take some cutting fluid. Hopefully you'll find a bottle that's marked cutting and drilling coolant, and you will spray that and drill a hole on the drill press. So I wouldn't mind helping you set that up. You put the clamp on there and then drill your hole. So once your hole has been drilled in the box, then it's time to tap it out. So we have this pipe tap here, and it's a specific size that I will get you. I've welded a handle on some of them. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. So when using the tap cutter, you're going to use some thread cutting oil. Just a little bit of oil will go on the tap to help reduce some of the friction. So you're going to start this on top of the box like this. You're going to clamp it on the vise. You're going to push down pretty hard and then start to turn. So once it starts threading, you're going to go about a full turn clockwise, and then you go counterclockwise about a quarter turn. And when you go counterclockwise, you'll hear it make a little click, and it will cut some of the threads out. So one full turn clockwise, and then I go back a quarter turn, and it cuts the threads out. So this one's already been threaded. I'm going to thread it right to the ends of these threads right here, and then we should probably be far enough. Then we can apply a fitting, and for this fitting, this one, it doesn't have to be this color. This was just one that I had laying around, but we want to make sure we put a little bit of sealant on there, some seal tape, and that will help prevent some of the air leaks. So we're just gonna take some of the seal tape and then wrap it around a couple layers, and we want it to go the same direction that we're gonna thread it in actually, and then I can break it off and I can start to thread it in the box. So this is how we'll test it in the air compressor. When we're testing it, we're going to try to use the air compressor that's not by all the tools, and then you just keep threading it in like that. So I used a wrench that was a 9/16 wrench, and then I would go all the way down. I stopped a little short on this one. The pressure box assignment, basically you're graded on how many leaks you end up with, and if you have completed the box, you drilled the hole in it, tapped it, even got to test it. So by the time you get to actually testing it, you've earned quite a few points because you've already done a lot of things. So even if you have quite a few leaks, you're going to end up with a decent grade. But be sure to look at the rubric for this assignment to better understand how you are graded.